Today, I am going to be finishing a painting that I started on plein air while I was in the Netherlands. I was actually at Keukenhof Gardens, which are only open 2 months out of the year. So I feel so privileged to have spent some time there. But it was chaotic and crazy and wild. And I just had a few moments to capture what I wanted to capture. I'll be using my Old Holland. I have a little tiny baby palette. Isn't it cute? I'll be using that today. And yes, it's in like a tulip themed tin. And my Art for Joy's Sake palette today as well. And then all the brushes. Who knows where I'll land with that. But what I want to talk about today is kind of how to evolve and then resolve a composition that was begun at a totally different time. And maybe it's a painting you haven't worked on for months or days or years, and kind of how to think through that process. So I hope you stick around, and I know we're going to have a good time. All right, let's get into it. All right, friends, if you have a question as I'm working, what's going to be super dupes helpful for me is to put a couple question marks in front of that. And of course, friends, if you're watching on replay, that was for my live crew. But also, and just as important, if not more important, I really would love for you folks watching on replay to also go ahead and ask questions and get involved in the conversation. So, because I really work very hard to respond to as many comments as I humanly possibly can. So, I have some snapshots. These are some just little snaps that I captured while I was there. And I definitely want to add that kind of orange tulip towards that's towards the bottom of the photo. I started with this tulip. This is kind of like my focal point area. And I think I want to like I think I want to tuck it in here, but I'm going to have to scale it down a little bit. um, oh my gosh, my nail polish matches my painter spot. Thank you, Lean. Thank you. So that is one of the snaps that I'm going to be working from. Let's see here. Here's another. This, I think, was the clematis. I think that's what we established. I took a poll while I was at Keukenhof, and I think y'all told me it was some kind of clematis, and I just thought that was super sweet. Wanted to get, I actually started, this is my interpretation of it. I made it more moody and dusty. The is this rhododendron? Yeah, the rhododendron there were on fire. They were so good. And so I don't know, maybe a rhododendron goes here. I don't know, but they were just like, look at that bud. Oh, so sculptural and lovely. Just love. And then what's this one? This tulip was massive. I just wanted to really show you it. It was flipping massive. So let me give you some context. It was, I think I took a picture of it next to my foot, and it was like bigger than my foot. If like you can even believe me. It was so big. Anywho, it's big. I don't know if I'm gonna include it, but and then I had myself a little love affair with the parrot tulips while I was there. And I think I was like crawling around on the ground. I have some video that my husband took of me without me knowing. Maybe I'll put that up on Instagram later. It was hysterical, but I was just obsessed. I mean, look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? It's gorgeous. So there's that. And I think that is what I have that I'm going to be working from. All right, here we go. So I'm kind of having to decide like where I want to put the next, flower. That's kind of important, right? And how do I make that decision? So I am thinking certainly at this point, like I feel pretty strongly about my focal point being, sorry, I'm just like watching my arm in the shot. That's kind of unattractive. But I love this flower here. I love the curve that's happening. This general area feels very focally to me, but it's troublesome because could it become top heavy? These are the things. These are the things I think about. Like, is it going to become, you know, annoying and top heavy? And it easily could. So that's just something I have to kind of keep in mind as I'm adding and making decisions. Friends, do you have any questions about composition that you would like me to answer right now? Go ahead and get into it. Let me know what questions you might have. I'm here for it. And I'm also trying to decide at this point. I think I want to get that. I really think I want to get that rhododendron in next. Like I want that to be my focal, well, not my, I don't want a new focal point. Sorry, I'm doing two things at once, so you can probably hear that in my voice. Trying to get the inspiration images up for myself. All right, yeah, I definitely want to get the rhododendron in there. Hello, Ginger. Yes, Zoe, I'm gonna do my best right after the live is over to get those photos into a link for you in description. All right, spraying down the baddie palette here, although she not baddie, she goodie. And let's talk about where I'm gonna decide to put this rhododendron. I love the bud. The bud is so exciting. And I'm gonna go ahead and almost thinking like here, right? And then have it kind of droop so that, yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, more yellow, more yellow, yellow. So what I'm doing is deciding, okay, I'm just gonna get in a little bit of the base of that bud, just a hint of it to kind of feel myself out. Like, am I headed in the right direction with how I'm adding this in, kind of with my thoughts? And I think I am. Let's go ahead then. Am I 100% sure? No, no. Let's go get a couple of these in. Oh, the paper. This paper is quite curious. Um, I am using Van Beek Art Supplies historical store in Amsterdam, and I did have the privilege of visiting, and it was so gorgeous. And I picked up things that I was like, whoa, I have not seen this before. And obviously, I've never seen or used Van Beek Art Supplies before. So that's what I'm using. And I really have been enjoying it. And here's why. The paper feels as thirsty, nearly as thirsty as Arches, but it has a much more subtle cold press texture. Yeah. So yeah, okay. Elizabeth says I'm terrible at compositions and I don't really know why. Um, Denise, hey Denise, how are you, friends? Okay, it's story time, y'all. It's story time. So, I may have started this story in another live, but I'm going to keep going here. And I'm still feeling all right about this decision I've made because what I think it's doing, and remind me if I like digress and forget story time, but remember how I said if I keep going with this area being the focal point, I really run the risk of this composition feeling way too top heavy because what's going to be down here realistically? A lot of stems and leaves and different things, you know, um, maybe. But in the back of my head, I'm like, oh, but we can resolve that. We could do some big, bold, just abstract brushstrokes down here. So when I'm adding in this big element, this rhododendron, my brain is like, okay, so let's have it not curve upwards and continue to add to the mass up here and the visual heaviness up here. Let's have it curve down a little bit, right? And the other thing that's I think going to be helpful is that the rhododendron, the flower itself, which I'm just starting to kind of block out right now, is white. And so it takes up less visual power in the space, if that makes sense. So, and then the third thing I really like about this, and I'm going to go bold to prove my point right at this actual moment, are those gorgeous, let me get the photo up here, those gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous leaves that a rhododendron has. They're big, they're long, and often they are droopy. So I'm going to go bold. I'm going to go bold here, and I'm going to give myself some insurance down here. I'm going to start mapping out how some of these leaves may droop into this bottom area that is, I know for a fact, it's going to need some visual weight, right? It just is because of what I am building up here, right? So I'm getting in there, and I'm committing to some contrast right now, right here, right now. See? So now it is confusing at this stage. The eye is a little bit like, oh, I don't know where to look, right? Red flower, big green leaf, red flower, like squirrel. But it's okay because it's early. It's early. All right. Get a little yellow in there. And this paper also reacts very differently to water than arches, and does some really funky stuff in the like cauliflowering department, but I love it because I love cauliflowering. I do. I'm a fan. And it does things that look different and unique to traditional cauliflowering, if that is like your jam. Okay. So yeah, but it's like not in a bad way. I don't know if you're picking up what I'm putting down here, but okay. I see a question from Country Boardwalk Studios. Is there any helpful formula to make compositions happen depending on the paper orientation, landscape or portrait? Yeah, so I mean, the rule of thirds can be helpful, or even the rule of like 2/3, as I kind of just thought of it in my head. So, for example, with a vertical orientation, you might want to think about all of the happy stuff happening, like in this particular painting. All of the focal stuff is happening at the top of the middle third, right? So imagine this being broken up into thirds. The happy spot, the focal point, is like happening right up at the top of that middle third, right? So I kind of feel like the same rule applies either way, either orientation. And it's not a rule, it's just a nice kind of reliable approach to keep going to just build that confidence as you're painting. So for example, like, kind of keep it light up here and airy and whimsical, and let all of the stuff happen in those bottom 2/3, right? And think about the bottom 2/3, the bottommost third, it should be have some weight to it, right? That middle third can be the busyness and the fun and the exploration and all that. And then that top third is where it kind of settles out, lightens up, kind of lets your eye fade off the page. And that's going to be the same too. Let's look at a painting I did yesterday for my Patreon members. And the same can kind of apply when you're holding it horizontal. Now, this is very much still a work in progress, and this actually breaks a lot of that. This actually is an interesting exception to what I just said, but still, if you break this into thirds, right? 3, a lot of the happiness, a lot of the focally busy, noisy stuff is happening in that middle third, right here, right? Right? And then the visual support, like the when I talked about over here, like maybe the heaviness of the composition is in the bottom third, it's still here in the bottom third because of more busyness, more contrast, right? Where I broke the rule a little bit is in that upper third left corner, I got dark, but because of these upward moving lines, it's still moving your eye off the page, right? So your eyes kind of like coming in, right in here, I feel. And then it's swirling about and it's going out, right? But still that rule of the thirds and the bottom 2/3 being where like all the oof happens still applies here. So in summary, my very complicated and wordy explanation, think about dividing your paper into thirds and really focusing on those bottom 2/3 and that middle third, left or right of center being where the most busy stuff happens. Is that helpful? If not, and you need me to re-explain, um, clarify, please let me know because I am very wordy. We know this. We know this, friends. We know this, friends. Oh, thank you, Kaylee. Thank you so much. Yes, Nicole says she loves compositions that kind of do the snail swirl. And honestly, so do I. Where your eye exactly. And this one is doing it. And I rely on this one heavily where focal point, just watch the tip of my brush. Watch the tip of my brush. Focal point, you come in here and then your eye goes here, 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 and out, right? That's kind of that swirl approach to composition works really well. Oh, yes, in Scandinavia. Oh gosh, I know there's so many places I'm trying to get those supplies. I know. Do I warm up before I go live? I probably should. I do not. I feel like when I just jump straight into a painting, I make a lot of strokes. I don't love if you do some sketching. Yeah, and perhaps I should warm up. Perhaps I should. um, Not too wordy at all. Oh, good. Country Boardwalk Studios. I'm glad that that was not too wordy. Hopefully helpful. Anywho, so I'm just going to get in here. My voice is squeaking today, friends, and I am going to go back to that story time. But I was in, Denise, where was I when I met you? Bruges? I think I was in Bruges. And I had taken the kids. I was trying to find an art store, and that was a whole thing. Anywho, and I come back as I'm telling the story, I'm just building up this rhododendron a little bit, friends. So I'm not really making any leaps or bounds in the composition department. Okay. So anyhow, I'm in Bruges and I was out with the kids for a couple hours and we had walked a bunch and I had the stroller and like I come back and I'm like my husband's sitting there and he's like just on the bench and you're in the middle of like a city square so like there's somebody sitting next to him wasn't much of a shock but then I like as I'm walking closer I'm like are they talking so anyway my husband's like there's somebody here that you should meet or something like that so long story short I met Denise and Denise is a watercolor artist and we sat in Bruges in the square whatever you want to call it I don't know what they call it there. And we chatted. I don't know. It was freezing cold. My family, I think, wanted to kill me because they were freezing. They were like, invite her to dinner. We're cold and hungry. And we just kept chatting and chatting. and anywho, we've stayed in touch. And I sent her some supplies. And I just felt like I met a kindred spirit. So Denise is or was on the live here. Fibonacci. Okay, yeah. And yeah, it's so fun. So she was one and like we just chatted about so many things. And yeah, I just definitely had like Anna Green Gables moment where I was like, I met a kindred spirit faux show. So anyway, thank you for hanging out, Denise. Thank you for all the chat, the fun chats in Bruges and beyond. So golden ratio, I don't know. Um, golden ratio. Yeah. Yeah. Maybe it is the Fibonacci spiral. Can somebody look it up? Like Fibonacci spiral? Fibonacci spiral? Okay, so let's take a look compositionally speaking. I am very happy with this decision so far. Super happy because it is still very much keeping my focal point where I want it to be. I've got some visual weight here. These leaves, are they the shape I want them exactly yet? No. But I know that the placement is good. I'm just going to actually add just a little point onto that bad boy, and that's going to solve a lot of situations. And then this one also just needs a point. And then I want to show you too, I want to lift up the page and give you a little close-up look at some of the really fun stuff that's happening that I didn't do. It's just the paper doing its thing. And I think it would annoy some of you. I don't think this paper is like going to be a broad spectrum crowd pleaser because you have to like this kind of noise in your painting. But can you see some of the stuff that's happening right there? The cauliflowering is different. It's almost giving you like ink, like dry when the ink, like if you use ink, words, I need to be able to use words. When you paint with ink, it gives you different cauliflower looks, and this is very ink-like, and I really love that. Okay, I'm just making sure I'm not missing any questions. What do you think about accenting your work with fountain pens? Wanted to try it, but need watercolors. Oh my gosh, friends, go for it. Please, for the love of all things, go for it. So I have a live, it was it last week's live, I think? I showed all my travel sketches. And I did a ton of fountain pen accenting. So please, by all means, 100% go for it. It is so much fun. It's my first fountain pen. Can you believe that? Did I put it, where did I put it? It's Lamy. Am I pronouncing that right, Lean? Lamy, Lamy. Here's my Lamy. I bought this in Germany, and it's German made, I believe. But I think this brand is pretty pretty broadly available in different areas over there, not just Germany, but I could be wrong. And so I was really enjoying adding the stuff with the fountain pen. Yeah. Yes, Lammy. Thank you, Sketches and Scrubs. And friends, make sure it almost sounds like Sketches and Scrubs. Do you have anything about that on your channel? Have you done any videos with a fountain pen? Because you seem excited about it. So I have a fountain pen with liquid watercolors in it. Oh, I know Nicole Smith loves her fountain pens and inks and stuff too. So friends, follow her on Instagram because she's a wealth of knowledge when it comes to inks. We've chatted before about all that kind of jazz. Friends, you may notice I am working more slowly than I normally do. And that is not just because I'm talking a lot, but I'm letting myself make slow decisions because number one, I am having myself, those moments where you really love a painting and you're like, this next brush stroke could just ruin it all. You have those are really silly thoughts. We know those are silly thoughts. We know that one brush stroke is not going to ruin the painting, but those are the feelings I'm having right now. And so I am to kind of combat that and deal with that feeling. I am making slower, more mindful decisions. Yeah. So yeah, there you have it. There you have it. The reality of the world. Okay. So Sketches and Scrubs, please go ahead, head over there, subscribe. She does urban sketching, and it sounds like she's combining fountain pens and watercolor. So, oh my gosh, check it out. And honestly, when if I had my sketchbook from Europe, like at hand, I would show you, but I don't even know where it is right now. That's really weird. But when I travel, I do a lot of that because I kind of get overwhelmed very easily when I'm traveling, and I've learned what style of art really inspires me. And it has become extremely loose pencil sketch first, then watercolor washes, again, extremely loose and almost messy. And then tighten it all up with some awesome, warmed up hand fountain pen inking. I love it. Oh, yay. Susan was in Keukenhof as well. April 5th. Oh my gosh, it must have been so crowded. There are more than like 3,000 fountain inks, Nicole says. That's insane. Um, cool. Donna uses fountain pens for her journals. Um, my current, so this one is just filled with Lamy ink, whatever their ink is. It does bleed when wet, and I've enjoyed it. It's just a black Lamy ink. And then I think what I have to get some kind of converter. Is that correct, Lean? If I want to put my own inks in it. And I wasn't able to get one while I was over there. Someone had on Instagram was like, Christy, go into a pen store and get the converter while you're in Germany. And I'm like, oh, crud. I could never find it. So I'm gonna have to try to order it. But I also have this other pen from Tom Studio. Now, this one does have interchangeable nibs, but it does not have a fountain pen nib. And I have this Tom Studio ink in here, which was the ink that is, this was a value session. We did tonal values, value study. And I established this blue ink as my darkest value. So, I mean, it was so good. I'm really enjoying the Tom Studio. I've used a very small variety of inks, and so far Tom Studio is my favorite. But again, it's just been a small variety. The converter is on. Oh, good. Oh, good. Yay. Thank you. Sketches and Scribes says the converter's on Amazon. It's about €7. Oh, that's great. Thank you so much. Thank you. I've never done anything with glass pens, so y'all just have that conversation amongst yourselves. All right, so for now, because I'm in the slow decision-making mode, I'm going to let this go. I'm going to let this simmer and kind of just hang out. There were so many grape hyacinths. I love grape hyacinths, even though I'm not like a purple fan, but I'm like on the fence about where I had placed them. So I'm thinking about that. I'm now starting to think about like building some more structure into this area that kind of visually supports everything else up here, right? So that's where my brain is at. So let's take a quick spin through my photos that I have set up here. Where's my mouse? Hi. If you're just hopping on, friends, we are here. I am discussing all things composition, and I am finishing a painting that was started at Keukenhof Gardens. And yeah. All right, we've got daffodils. I always add the extra L in there. I don't know why. Just got some tulips, gorge, clematis. Oh, the clematis were like branchy and then viney. Maybe something branchy down in the bottom area would be interesting. Oh, thank you, Sketches and Scrubs. She's reminding y'all to add a question mark so that I can see your question. Yay. Lean drops everything, so she's afraid to get a glass pen. Okay, so I'm wondering if maybe this clematis might be something good for down here. So let's think through it. Let's go back full screen here. If we were to couple of things to give this area some visual weight and support our focal point without being distracting. Oh, it's just a tall order. So first thing I'm thinking is maybe just some building out from these like curly, swoopy, abstractly placed leafy moments, build some more out. and kind of cross it over, that could work. But we're going to get into a situation where I'm going to be starting to lose these grape hyacinths. So then part of me is like, do I add just a bunch more grape hyacinths and start filling them in there? Maybe it's a little bit of both. I think, I don't know. I'm torn. I'm definitely torn and a little nervous about it. Um, Maybe I am feeling this a little more strongly, though, strongly enough to do it. Just going to take some olive the green, meaning swooping together all of the green in that section of my palette. All right, don't panic because I'm not yet. Just a little something like that. Yeah. Okay. Okay. All of the green. I think I just made up something. I swear I'm going to be using that now. All of the green, all of the pink. What is that? So what's that going to be? That's just taking a little section of your palette and just like juicing up all the colors in that section. Okay. Okay. So this is helping. This is starting, because this is giving a little bit of structure. It's helping, carry the eye up here, but we're starting to build that visual weight. But it was slow because it's very sheer, washed out color. This is an odd area. I'm not going to lie. I almost think I need to go in here and carefully work in another rhododendron leaf, but maybe one that's a little more yellow. All right. Just come take a ride with me, friends. Come take a watercolor ride. Why is my yellow not releasing? Because I didn't have enough water in it. All right. Come take a ride. Come take a ride. I'm going right over those grape hyacinths because you know why? I'm thinking mixed media a little bit in the future, or even just a juiced up, just some juiced up purple to kind of get some of that definition back. I can also just push back some of the green with a damp, cleanish brush. Yeah, look at that. And then I'm blotting off screen in between the pushbacks. Look at that. Look at that. Sometimes watercolor can be bullied. Sometimes watercolor doesn't bite back when you bully it. I mean, look what, I painted right over that grape hyacinth, but then very quickly just pushed back and lifted. And it worked. Ooh, we went out of focus. Okay, let's just examine what has been done. I'm in a sing-songy mood. Denise, are you still with us? Little secret about my friend I met in Bruges, Denise. I think she may have left, but she's a worship leader at her church and she has a stunning voice. And so we were like sing-songing together on a bench in Bruges. It was fun. Oh, glycerin works. Okay, I'm just going to put this one up. It's off topic, but it's an occupational hazard, a hobby hazard, whatever you want to call it. If you get paint or chocolate or coffee on your clothes, glycerin works wonders. And I got glycerin because of all the paint making I was doing for that one video. Singing in Bruges while the kids were starving. Okay, true-ish. It was more so singing in Bruges while the adults were whining. All right. The kids actually, my son had met a little boy from London, and he was like, they were like fast friends. That's my son. He can make friends anywhere he is. I love that about him because his mama ain't like that. Well, actually, that's not true. I lie so bad. It used to be me in a very big and uncomfortable way, but my son can make friends anywhere. And then Irie was just like running behind them, like, wait for me, wait for me. They didn't care. It was the cranky grown-ups that were like, can you please stop talking about, endless watercolor palettes? And yeah, let's go to dinner. Okay. Oh, you have a phthalo. Sketches and Scrubs has a phthalo that won't budge. Oh, that sucks. So just a little secret, and it's not gonna be secret anymore, but I actually reached out to Sketches and Scrubs. Is it okay if I share? Let me know. Actually, before I like open my big flapping mouth, let me know if it's okay to share that what we may be doing and what we're trying to work out. and then I'll share or not. Tammy's from Kentucky. We've got Mississippi, Illinois. Okay, so I reached out to Sketches and Scrubs, and I desperately need a moderator. I desperately need a moderator, like someone who's comfortable with the platform and someone who knows a lot about, variety of art supplies, and someone who can navigate and share links and, block people. Not that we really don't usually have that problem, every once in a while, and all the things that a moderator does. So we're trying to work out, getting her here as our moderator, and she's doing it today. Like, I didn't even know she was coming on, but she's doing it. So, but we're working to make that official really soon. So yeah, if anybody else, because, obviously we all have schedules, we all have other things to do, but if anybody else is ever interested in being a moderator, and picking up some of the Thursdays, that would be super awesome. And just email me, hello@christyrice.com, and let me know. My lives are typically every Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern, New York time. And they usually go about 2 hours. So if it's something that you could do, if you could cover an hour of the 2 or whatever, if you're interested, let me know. Because we can't put it all on Sketches and Scrubs, just got things to do. Anywho, okay. So let's talk about the last few decisions that I made and why I think they're working. Again, got some nice structure here. And I've almost got now like a triangle shape that I didn't do intentionally. And that actually looks like, like an ice cream cone. And what is an ice cream cone but a support, right? But a support. And I like that it's supporting all of this. Follow my brush. All of this is supporting the focal, the busy, the happy spot, right? Gosh, that doesn't sound very PG. But whatever. This is an adult show. I know there's so many people. Lean. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, Lean. Well, Lean, I can already tell that you've already been doing that. Like, you answer questions, and that's part of being a moderator too, is just like keep the awesome conversations going in the chat section, because that is so, it's like one of the most important things with a live is the people that are here for it. You know what I mean? So keeping those beautiful conversations going and evolving is so helpful. So I appreciate you so much. And don't think I don't notice, because I do. That sounded creepy. I do. All right. I am getting annoyed right now with this ending here abruptly. So tentative, lots of yellow, and a little bit of this peach. And y'all know I do not call my own. I created all these, I just smudged my paper. I created all these vanity color names for my palette. I do not use them. But some people like them, some people don't. I can't remember them. So I just call it whatever I think of in the moment. Isn't that funny? So funny. All right. I'm okay with that. It actually just kind of like, it was almost like glaring at me the way it was before, and now it's just like faded away. So I'm happy with that. And that's something that I should bring attention to. Sometimes the decisions we're making are not to always call attention to something, but often the decisions we're making in a composition are to just let something fade away and not be, and let it be secondary or tertiary, or just not even enter into your consciousness as you're experiencing a painting. So it's really interesting. And I don't think we talk about that a lot in terms of composition. It's not always about drawing attention to, but drawing attention away. So that's what I did there. Okay, really liking this little spray here. It's giving structure. The darkness, all this darkness is contrasting with the lightness here, and still leading us back to that. Just for fun's sake, funsies, and just to get a little bit more detail-y. You just love my super technical terms. So green, blue, brown, just makes a really rich dark. Blot it. I'm using my 1/8 inch dagger, And this little guy had these little boops, these little centers. I want to add a couple. I'm just gonna add a couple and walk away. Love that, love that, love that. I'm so glad I did that. My brain needed those. My brain needed those to make me happier about life. All right. Remember, I always say, paint in a way that keeps you motivated. Paint in a way that keeps you motivated. Would we normally add just randomly, like, hi, let's just ADHD ourselves through this painting and just randomly add things when it doesn't make sense? But, and by the way, no offense, because I'm an ADHD girly. So pretty sure undiagnosed, but I'm leaving it there because it works for me. So I added it because my soul, my instinct, kind of the same thing, told me I needed it. I wanted it. And then I did it and I felt good. And then I'm like, ooh, I want to keep going. I'm excited. That's the kind of like cycle you want in your painting. Okay. I need you to see my face. All right. I need you to see my face. That's the kind of cycle you need in your painting. The like, to be relaxed enough that your instinct kicks in and lets you think, I need something. I know what I need, or at least I kind of think I know what I need. I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it slowly. And then, oh, yeah, that's good. Okay, enough of that. Moving on, and just take that momentum, that excitement that you just built for yourself, and it'll propel you into the next part of your painting. That is the cycle you want to be in. And again, not something a lot of us, we talk about in the art world. We don't talk about kind of that emotional cycle that propels you through a painting experience, that helps you deal with distraction, boredom. Come on, we get bored with the paintings we're working on, right? Anxiety. What are the actions? What are the techniques? What are the strategies that we can learn and rely on to keep us chugging happily, joyfully? Something I know about myself is that I tend to get excited when I do something like that that I really love. And then I'm like, oh, where else can I add marks like that? And I tend to go a little overboard. So put the brush down, Christy. Put the brush down. Okay. Let's once and for all resolve this grape hyacinth situation. And I'm going to do it in such a way that I am being bold and true to myself, even if it takes it to a place that I'm not fully excited about. All right. Talk yourself through, talk yourself through. I do have a video on being kind to yourself. I, to this day, believe that is the single most underwatched video on my channel. I'm going to get it in the description for you to watch because it is so important, again, for that life cycle, that joy cycle that you need to be in whilst painting. Can you tell my caffeine has kicked in? Anybody? Anybody? Yep, it has. All right, purple. This is a brush that does not exist for the general population yet. It just exists right here in my hands. This is the travel cat's tongue, but I have reimagined it a little bit so that folks who do want to pick up eventually my travel brush set are not just going to get exact duplicates just in the travel format, right? So each brush is being reimagined a little bit. This #1 cat's tongue, I know it says Joy Chaser, it's just a prototype. This one comes to a longer, smaller, finer point than the original cat's tongue, which comes to what I call and love a textural point. It's a little fuzzy at the end and it creates amazing texture. Whereas this one doesn't create as much texture, but gives you precision. So I'm excited. I used this all throughout Europe. Loved it. All right. Okay. Focus, focus, focus. Just, I'm very unsure right now. I'm speaking, I'm just kind of calling out my emotions. I am very unsure right now. That's okay. So the technique that I'm using for these are just press and lifts, different angles, but all of them are kind of emanating from the same kind of single location at the bottom, 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 right? still very unsure. But not, it's not like an unsure, like, ooh, I need to stop. Just working slowly, mindfully, but not so mindfully and slowly that I'm like frozen and not making decisions, if you will. A little circle action going in here. Also, when you are when you are feeling that kind of that tied upness in your stomach when you're working through a situation, keep your eyes moving throughout the area, not just focused on the thing you're painting. Huge tip. When you are confident about the item, like for example, I am confident about this placement, I'm confident about this flower, it's my focal point, I got it. When I start adding detail here, I'm going to let myself hyper focus on just this area for a time. But down here, nope. Nope, I'm going to keep my eye moving. Here, 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 here. We never talk about that. We never talk about how we gotta, where our eyes should be, where our attention should be when we are making strokes. Do we? We just don't. We don't. Yep. Oh, I love this. Yes, Donna. Donna mentioned, let me put this up because this is really important. You're an acrylic painter, and this is so fluid, and it is. It can. Do you feel a little out of control? You probably do at times, if you're really used to acrylics. But it is also, I feel like when you're going in either direction, like when I go from watercolor to acrylic or watercolor to gouache, I feel like a freedom for different reasons. Like with gouache or acrylic, I can, cover up little boo-boos a lot easier sometimes, or I can add highlights and, a lot easier sometimes. But the other way too, like when you go from acrylic or gouache to watercolor, you again feel this freedom because of the fluidity and the sheerness and yeah. So I love that. Just looking through here if I have missed any questions. Let's see. Remember to get those question marks in front if you have any. Okay, the parrot tulips. Yes, yes. All right, cool. We're good. All right. So let's just take a beat, take a moment, take a breath. I'm okay. There's nothing that I'm like, oh, I wished I hadn't done that. But I'm still not like, I'm not seeing like a breakthrough yet in terms of like, okay, these grape hyacinths really look like they belong here. You know what I'm saying? I'm not seeing that yet. That's okay. I'm trying out some extra detail on just this one here towards the bottom. How are y'all feeling about this? Is this helpful? Is this pace too slow? Is there too much talking? Like, I want to know, what do you need from this type of kind of, this is kind of like a tutorial live, but it's a hybrid. It's not so focused on the painting technique, but it's more focused on the composition decision. So is it helpful? Is it boring? Like, be honest. I want to hear it. All right. So what I did here is I just evolved this hyacinth a little bit, thinking maybe a little more visual power in some of the lower grape, the lower height, let's just call it hyacinth, okay? Might be helpful. So I added in a juicier blue, so more paint on my brush, a little less water, and then established some more contrasted areas, and then added a little water to kind of spread some of them out. And I actually kind of like that. I believe grape hyacinths, now that I'm thinking, have these like thin, like scaled down versions of like tulip leaves. And even if they don't, I don't care. I'm going to make them because I think it might help the situation. And I'm going to make a dark one. Are you ready? Just don't. I'm panicking enough. Don't panic with me, okay? Because I need some structure. I need a little bit of structure, but I'm not going to go all the way to the bottom. Twisting. Okay. Okay. I need some structure. I'm going to wet this a little bit and just lift a little. That was pretty thick, but I wanted it opaque. I almost went like gouache there. I need some strength there. Okay. Not shouting from the rooftops, but I'm not like, oh, crud. All right. So because of that, I'm going to leave that there and see how I feel about it. Before I leave, I am going to lift. When you're in a moment like this where you're not sure if you made the correct decision and you know you're going to walk away, it's okay to remove at that point, but I would not suggest adding anymore at that point. I wouldn't try to edit your shapes. If you want to try to lift and lighten some things, go for it, but don't try to actually add or change shapes at that point. Does that make sense? I think that's important. So many of it, so much of the questioning that I get is like, how do I know when to stop? How do I know when to do this? How do I know when and where to add this? And my answer so much of the time is make decisions slower, navigate around the painting, making slower, more methodical decisions. And this was an example of that. Just a press, long lift where it meets, and I want it to go behind. Take that moment with the tip of the brush and refine, define and refine. There we go. And then you could continue up here to a point. And that's a slow, long, gradual lift as you drag. Okay. I'm going to lift. I'm not excited about the way the paint took to that part of the page. So I'm going to lift a little bit of it out. This is a little trick I do when I choose to go bold and I'm like, ooh, I just don't like the texture that created or the way that the paint kind of took to the page, but I still want boldness. Something I will do, friends, is take a little unexpected color and float it in after I've done a little bit of lifting. And 9 times out of 10, I'm like, ooh, likey. And this, I think, is going to be one of those times. Mm-hmm. You can see what I did there. See? Yeah. All right. Coolio. Add the contrast and lift kind of in the middle of those strokes before they dry. Yeah. You can always add. Yes. Yes. Lean, I'm glad that was helpful. I'm so glad. Oh, hey, Tammy. It is so engaging here. It is so true. I got to put this comment up because this community, I mean, I've been in a lot of watercolor communities in my time. Y'all, this community is wild. You all are so incredibly friendly and helpful and welcoming. It's incredible. And I'm so grateful for it because it's hard to find sometimes. Yeah. 'Tis hard to find. We're so glad you're here as well. So my brain is like, Chrissy, you're kind of creating, like, what are you doing? You're kind of creating this really strange bouquet situation down here, and you're coming to a point, and I thought, I didn't think I was going to do that. And I don't know how I'm going to resolve that yet, but I'm okay with it. Like, I think it actually is super interesting. And now I'm curious, like, how do I want to resolve this? Is this going to lead me to some new technique I haven't tried? Yesterday, I shared on Instagram in my stories another artist. I can't recall her name right now, but she was using, like, doing a lot of layering with inks and Oh my gosh, my brain, the stuff that you put down and you can paint over it and then it peels off and your page is still white. For the love, what's it called? You know what I'm talking about. And she uses that technique where you're like, put down a big wash, put down some of that stuff I can't remember the name of, and then do some other washes in select areas and then peel it off and then put some what's it called? Oh my gosh. Masking fluid. Yes, that. Oh my heavens. Oh my heavens. Okay. Does anybody else have those moments or is it just me? Oh my Lord. So I'm like, my brain is like, ooh, could we do like a masking situation down here? Well, why not? All right. You know what? Life is fun. Okay. What should I use? I'm gonna paint on some masking. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. So I've got this stuff, Sennelier. I've got Grimbacher. I've got Jafuk. Jafuk. I've got Core. Anybody? Brain toots. Yeah, great. Well, I'm 46, so everything makes sense now, Tammy. Everything makes sense. I've got two Jafuks. You know, I need to give one of these away. I don't need two Jafuks. I think it came in a 2-pack. I apologize if I'm saying that. Which one should I use, friends? Anybody who's familiar with masking for brush on, which one should I use? Sennelier. Okay, got it. On it. I haven't used masking. I could totally ruin this painting. I'm okay with that because I can repaint it. I'm okay with that. I could totally ruin this. Oh my gosh. How long do you have to leave masking to dry? I forget this kind. At least 10 minutes. Okay, that's fine. So I'm going to do some masking. But first, no, I'm thinking just some white areas and get some real heavy contrast here, but in the other direction might really give us that visual weight we're after. What do you think? What do you think? Oh, cool. All right, I'm going to use a cruddy brush for my masking. One that I've kind of, oh, actually, I'm just going to use this Art for Joy's Sake brush. I think it has a funky tip. And I'll dip it in some kind of something so I know that it's for masking later on. All right, here we go. I'm just going to do like little bud things. Maybe this one is yeah, that's better. Just like little strokes. I'm going to do one here. Oh, I'm so excited. Oh my gosh. This is exciting. Do I just do one? Is one stroke enough? Because it's like bubbling up almost. Is that normal? Like one is, yeah. Talk me through it. Hello. I'm doing some dots. I don't know. I think I understand what my brain wants to do here. I used to do batik in high school. I spent a whole year doing batik. My art teacher, she knew I loved weird stuff, different stuff, not weird, different things that maybe other kids would like care, not like just not care at all about. And so she got me all the stuff to do batik. And this reminds me of that process, thinking kind of in a backwards way, kind of the opposite way. So many bubbles. Yes. Okay, so oh, the soap before I've seen that tip and I completely forgot about it. I have seen that. Yeah, that's a tip. That's a good one. Wish I would have remembered that, but also I would have had to have left the room and nobody has time for that. Okay, and then there was this little baddie up here. And I'm looking at it from an angle to see what I did. Oh, this one needs a little something, something, something. I'm adding just some linear stuff. Maybe it'll become texture. I mean, it will become texture. Oh, this is just fun. My brain is just buzzing with potential here and praying that I don't screw this up because I really do like this painting. Okay, so I'm gonna let that go for now. All right. And then I'm just gonna work on some detail. Oh, okay, you can see a difference. Um, you can see a difference as it dries. Okay, that makes sense. This one maybe looks like maybe it's gonna turn blue. Yeah, see, or yellow. I don't know. It's doing something for sure. Faux show. Clean these brushes really well because I didn't soap them. Didn't soap them. Okay, back to some detailing up in the rhododendron. And I'm just adding, it's probably going to be hard for y'all to even see these details. Really fine. The rhododendron petals close up, they're almost like wrinkly, if you will. Like really wrinkly. It's interesting. They're like crepe paper. Crepe paper? Yeah. Just trying to get a hint of that. Need some yellow. Need some not fluorescent yellow. Keep those questions coming if you have them. Please, please. All right. Yes. Batik is where your wax is essentially imagine wax being is masking an area of fabric, and then you're inking or dipping or painting over it, and then you're ironing off. From what I remember, you put wax paper down, or maybe it's like butcher's paper down, and you iron off and keep lifting out the wax, and then you can layer again and layer again and layer again, wax and paint and lift and wax and paint and lift, that kind of thing. Yeah, really, really interesting. All right, I'm going to put some more detail in. So I'm going to take that blue that I talked about using here before, a little bit of purple, and blot. Still using that reimagined cat's tongue, and I'm going to start adding some contrast to this base layer that I did of the hyacinth. Some circles and dots and dashes, and then water. Just need some water. I'm going to move around some of that blue to fill. I mean, grape hyacinths are pretty structural when you get right down to it. So, they're like little cones. I am getting close to the areas that I did masking. That's okay. Sue, how come people keep interrupting me at work? I don't know. I mean, the audacity, really. I mean, don't they know it's watercolor time? And that's in addition to lunchtime. There's also watercolor time. Oh, I'm just very kind of slowly adding some of this detail into other areas to see if I like what it's doing. Like up here a little bit. Mm-hmm. After 40, had to go solve a problem. The teenager forgot about ice cream and bowl. Solution. Oh my gosh, that's hysterical. I will also paint any medium. Noka says, I love your paintings and you inspired me to start illustrating a kid's book with watercolors. I was so afraid of watercolor before now, but love it. Thanks to you. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Oh, I'm so excited. Yeah. Woohoo. You made me want to sing. Yours comment is the first that made me break out in full song. And I just can't hide it. I know, I know, I know. That's amazing. Um, I need new is that an adjective? Amazing, awesome, inspiring, exciting. I tend to word fixate, so you know. At least I'm self-aware. Okay, now I'm like trying out like getting a lot of paint on the tip of this brush and just adding some like dots just from the almost like letting a bead of color transfer, right? Does that make sense? That can be a super helpful trick. Letting a bead of color transfer from the tip of your brush onto the page, and it's going to give you a really kind of contrasty feel. All right. So I think I want to get a little bit more going on into this. Our real focal here. Okay. I love so much some of the watercoloriness that's going on, especially here. So I don't want to like lose it to a lot of linear detail. So I'm gonna just mix up, got some pink, some red, some fuchsia, some red, and then I'm gonna mix some, there we go. Put this under here so you can see that a little better. Let the light hit that. So like a coral, get the liner, damp, twirl. Make sure I don't have a bubble on the end. I have a slight bubble on the end. Dab it if I need to. Where? Just a little here. And I don't know if this is going to show up, but I'm going to try it. Not really. Okay. But I want something there for sure. Here we go. Show you that close up. Can you see that? Yeah, right there. That's what we did there. Re-dipping and twirling, making sure I don't have a little bead on the end because that's just going to deliver way more paint than I want. And then just I'm accentuating like the little cup kind of shape in the middle of this petal here, accentuating that with a few little linear moments. I love this little moment here and accentuate it. Boom. See that? Can we see that? Hopefully. That makes me want, my thinking is, let me give you some big picture thinking. When this is dry, I'm gonna do a really juicy inky, I think I may even bring in the ink, wash down here. And it's gonna obscure some of like this. So some of this grape hyacinth is gonna get obscured and become like a really low contrast texture, okay? And then I'm gonna kind of like see where it ends. So it's going to be very abstract. Everything's going to change. So my thinking is a lot of this busyness is going to go away. So I am going to build up some busyness in this spray of leaves here. That's where I'm headed. Again, the reasoning to build visual power down here that uplifts our focal point here. And because right now it's looking top heavy, like it could just fall over. It literally, like, another way to describe it, like there's a bow here and this thing's like kind of standing on a table, like, you know, like a bride's bouquet. It's kind of standing on the table and it is just about to fall forward. Boom, splat. All right. I want to resolve that, because that creates like an uneasy feeling for the viewer. We don't want that. So just going to add, and I am using my liner to actually create like a larger shadow, but I want some precision. So that's why I'm doing it. I want some precision up here where my leaf hits the tulip. So now I'm going to take some blue and dab it just right where the leaf meets the tulip. And all I did by doing that is created some depth in that overlap right there. And I'm going to add a little water and tap to blend. Just tap, tap, tap the two together. Okay, that's nice. It's a nice start. I've got a funky funkadoodle watermark there that I think is adorable. And I know some of you, it's just like absolutely driving you insane. It's okay. We differ. But don't you love how I just assume like I'm reading your thoughts? I'm in the zone, friends. So I tend to babble a little bit. It's like I talk as if no one's actually listening. So forgive me for whatever may come out of my mouth. All right, so what I did here is I cut in with a dark green, cut in, and I'm sweeping over almost like there's another little leaf coming in between this leaf and this leaf, but it's behind both of them, right? These are the kind of decisions you have to make, like, okay, build your world. Let me just pause and say this. This is kind of a compositional thing, but not as much. This is more of a making up stuff thing, because I hear that a lot as well. Like, I can't make up my own compositions. Yes, you can. The reason you think you can't is because you're not giving yourself permission to invent your own stinking world. Build your world, invent your world. Like I just did. Carve out shapes. See how it feels. I mean, how many times have you gotten flowers from the grocery store? You know what a tangle of stems and branches and leaves feels like. Put that on the paper. Make the decision. Give yourself permission to have the confidence to try it, and give yourself the permission to screw it up if it just doesn't work out and you don't like it. All right? You can, just not letting yourself. Make decisions slowly, but make them, for heaven's sake, make them. All right, I'm going to get away from that because I'm fussing. I'm fussing. But basically, I kind of created a little peak of a leaf or a stem or something that's kind of behind this flower, and just a hair of it is peeking out. A little bit more of it is peeking out right there. Yeah. And by doing so, I've defined this leaf more. And it looks a little strange right now, but as I continue to build some of the detailing in this area, like I said, I wanted to, it's going to look less and less and less strange. Question. I see it. Christy, do you ever use sparkling paints? If yes, any tips? on favorite brands. I will be honest, I am slowly developing an appreciation for any type of shimmer watercolor. I actually have some coming up that I've been sent that I'm including in my granulation, my really big granulation video that I hope comes out sometime in June. It's a big one, and it got pushed back because of the whole new editor thing. But I'm my view on them is evolving in a positive direction. Let's just say that. Am I in a place to recommend any though? No. So head to, just look in the section, comment section, friends. Shout out your favorite shimmery watercolors. Yeah. Oh, I like this. This is a little different than how I've done this painting, but I've worked this way. I'm going to put this up on screen from Lean. So here's what she says. I love this. Just take a little piece and work out from there. Instead of giving yourself the weight of having to do all the composition at once. Then divide. So basically you could divide by thirds, pick a spot and work out from there and play and see how it evolves. And that approach, it feeds right into this idea of creating your world. Okay? Create your world. Start from one point and create out. I love it. I love it. Yes. Woo. All right. So Sketches and Scrubs says she loves sparklies. Etcher Golden. So it says Etcher Golden paints. And uses those in her florals. Kuretake. Yeah, Kuretake has awesome. Art Whale. Metallics are nice, says Gina. Awesome. Speaking of Kuretake, I got to get up to show you something quick because I'm like anxiously waiting for this to dry. But anyway, let's just have a little reprieve here and take a looky-loo at this. Hi. Using the teeth. Kuretake, Ganzitambe, granulating colors. Someone pointed them out to me in my Instagram DMs. And I was like, come again, what now? So I'm pretty sure I ran so fast, I may have pulled a muscle to grab my phone and get them in my Amazon cart. So here they are. This is a little something I did for patrons as well for the month of May. Lots of stuff going into Patreon. Oh my gosh. If you are curious about my Patreon, I have the link below. It's just patreon.com backslash, not backsplash, Christy writes. So, oh my gosh. All right. So let's play. Why not? Ooh, yeah. All right, let's play. Let's play. And I'm going to get them linked in my Amazon store if anybody's interested. And of course, it's an affiliate link and I get a little commission, but it's not down there yet. So don't go looking for it. Okay. They give you an empty pan. This is a curious. I don't know. Like one empty pan, like I don't get it. They say it's for mixing, right? It literally says, what does it say here? To be used for dissolving the colors in water. Whatever. I don't know. Okay, this one's Aurora Red. So now, Izzy from Izzy Watercolors did say that sometimes putting them in a pan or on a palette first and get it moving and grooving can help. So let's do both. Let's see. So I'm making myself a puddle and then let's bully the paint. Let's bully it. Let's push. Let's spray. Whoa, wait a minute. What just happened? What in the, do you see it? What the? Do you see? Shut the front door. Am I going to be doing a wash with this stuff in my painting today? Look. It's different, y'all. It's like it's lighting itself up. What is happening? Whoa. Okay, you've been playing after 40 art. Okay, so this is just me not doing what the manufacturer says to do. And then I'm going to go ahead and do what the manufacturer says to do. Like you said, art after 40 art. All right, we're ready for it? All right, ready? If you're still here, can you go ahead and give this video a boop? If you've been entertained, if you've been having fun, if you've learned something, just go ahead and give it a thumbs up. That really helps out my channel. So I'm grabbing the color, putting it over here, picking up more water and dropping it in. Let's see if we get a quicker result. Well, that's different, that's for sure. But let's see when it dries if it's, what? Well, I still feel like I want to bully it around. Okay. Did I do it right? Yeah, one empty pan is ridiculous. Yeah, I agree. What we need, they are gorgeous. But look how the first one is changing the way I did it. All right, so bully time. Now, let's see if starting the way I did with a watered down version applied to the page gives a different result. It looks like it's going to. Holy crow. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and put, I've got my little, oh, I forget the artist's name. Crud, I'll put it in description. Let's go ahead and get, this is Aurora Pink. And the reason I, ran in a fashion that I was going to hurt myself so fast to get these was because look how different it reacted by doing it that way. So we can get different results. Is because this one has a lot of warm pinky tones to it, which traditionally are very difficult to get to granulate. There aren't a lot of naturally granulating pink pigments. I've been learning. I've been doing all my research. I mean, heck, I interviewed 2 paint makers already for my granulating video, and they're teaching me all the things. Anyhow, all right, this is direct from the palette applied. Make a puddle, make a puddle. Again, Aurora Pink. How cute is this palette? Does anybody remember? I waxed poetic about it on Instagram. Remember the artist's name that I said? I feel like such a ding dong right now. Look at the different results though. This is such a wonderful way to wait for the paint to dry on my other painting. Okay, so we're gonna call this straight. It's not writing. I want to write like some way to indicate that this was straight from the pan, these 2, and this was mixed. Like I got to figure out how to word that, but I'll remember what I did here. But because you're getting very different results, I feel like. Spray bottle, man, spray bottle is magic with granulating. The difference in these 2 is blowing my mind. It's blowing my mind. Thank you. Neat versus mixed. That's perfect. Neat versus mixed. Once I can get in there and actually write without like smudging my palm, I will. Oh, yes. The more water you use, the better, says After 40 Art. And that is correct. Some of the tips that I've learned in my recent interviews, mixing on a palette first, adding the water there, then getting it on the page. I love to spray my paper sometimes first. And I think I might do that with the painting that I'm about to go to and potentially completely destroy, but I'm excited. Oh, hello. Oh, no. And we all know what just happened. If we've ever used Kiritake, they all fell out and they are loose, but I'm going to put them back in order. Oh my gosh. While I have such an affinity for like how these little paper palettes feel in my hand, I hate that they're not like attached. But anyway. Okay, so let's see what's happening here. Just totally different. It's like this one, the blue came out so strong. So I'm a huge fan of granulating. watercolors. And here's why. They are joy makers. They are joy makers. And you know why? Because you cannot fully predict what they're going to do. So it's like you are setting yourself up for a complete, utter joy moment every time you use them, because you have no idea, really. You have a general idea, like, but you really don't have a full understanding of what they're going to do. All right, I'm going to pull this one off to the side. I use my 3 boxes of my swatching stamps to build up a little pillar to get closer to the camera. Okay, so neat, and mix. And then this one was Aurora red. So Aurora red, Aurora pink. Did I spell that right? I don't know. I'm writing very strangely. Okay, so I just want, there's Aurora blue and Aurora orange. Okay. What do I want to do? So my brain is already on the painting. So I'm going to put this to the side. And let's get the painting back in front of us, and let's be bold. Let's be bold. And clearly this painting's not going to get finished today. But what does that even mean, finished? Who knows? Whatever I do in the next few minutes might mean that I'm going to be cutting this thing down and tearing it up and doing all sorts of crazy stuff with it. So who knows? Who knows? Who knows where it's going to go? I don't know. I'm nervous. I'm singing. Sing-songy. I'm making up my own songs. That means I'm nervous. Okay. I'm going to do it. I'm going to just do it. Are we ready? Are we actually ready for this? I don't know if I'm ready. Can I get a ready? Ready in comments? Give me your ready. I'm thinking. You're not seeing anything happen because I'm thinking. I am, sometimes in a painting, there's like a moment where you are just, sorry, but balls to the walls brave. Where you need to be balls to the walls brave. Okay. Sorry, I was raised in a house where no words were off limits. A lot of colloquialisms. All right, I'm doing it. And this is my moment where I need to do what I just said. Probably not going to talk a lot. So bear with me. I don't even like purple that much, but I'm going for it. So I'm singing at church on Sunday. I'm leading a song at church on Sunday. And it's called Look at What the Lord Has Done. Whether you believe in what I believe, look at what has been done. Even we don't know where it's going to land. We don't know where we're at yet. But still, just look and be grateful and be excited that your hands are moving, that your brain is on fire. My brain is on fire. I'm excited for it. I'm grateful for it. I am grateful for bravery. I'm grateful for bravery. Mhm. I'm going from like long sprays to really tentative sprays because I kind of want this to blend up into nothing. This might be. So this is actually way less bold than I thought it would be. And I am down for it, digging it, here for it. Holy crap. I hope crap is not a word you can get dinged for. It might like bleep me. I think it can do that automatically. I am really excited. Okay. This is my brain right now. Let me just explain to you where my brain's at. My brain is like just racing with possibility because I see all of this amazing stuff happening down here that I now know once it's dry, I'm going to go over it with some more masking fluid and protect some of these really interesting areas and then continue to build and layer and build and layer. This little happy accident, this little ridge, can you see? No, you can't. Hold on. You see that little ridge building? I didn't plan this, y'all. I didn't even think I was going to break these out today. Oh, very experimental. Those colors just split and hit all the tingly brain spots. I couldn't have said it better myself. I couldn't have said it better myself. Oh my gosh, yes. Yes, if you're watching on replay, all the supplies are linked below, friends. This is the Kuretake Ganzitambe granulating 5-color set. Just picked it up. Even the wait a minute. Even the flowers look amazing. They're like, what the crap just happened? Holy crow. I don't want to remove these puddles, friends. I don't, because these puddles down here, you can't see them right now because I have the thing over it. Neela says my brain spots are broken from work. I'm sorry. Swatch another color. Yeah, I'm going to. Okay. But I don't want to pick it up either. So I'm going to just hold on. I'm going to shift. It's like I don't want to disturb any of what is happening right now. If you're just popping on, this I swatched the first 2 colors, Aurora Red, Aurora Pink, and I'm going to go ahead and swatch a few others. Let's see what they do on this paper that I hate. I'm so not invested. This paper is single-sided, so it does, like you get, I don't even talk about it, but I got to use it up, so. All right, this one is Aurora Orange, which I did use a little bit in what I just did over here. So we're gonna go neat, which means I'm not mixing it on a palette first. We're going neat. We're gonna rinse our brush and then we're gonna bully it. I'm gonna spray it. It probably will not be as exciting on this paper. That is my guess, but let's see if I'm wrong. It's doing stuff. It's moving and grooving, that's for sure. And then we're gonna go ahead. Oh, it's going onto the other sheet. That's funny. It's fine. All right. And then we're gonna go ahead and mix it on a palette first, because that's been recommended by Kuretake. And then add some water and get her down there. I'm gonna flick it onto the page. Okay, really messy. And then bully it, bully it, bully it. Spray it, spray it. Holy mother of heck. Look at what's happening. And then I'm just gonna write in here, this is Aurora Orange. We need a whole, there needs to be a very specific stamp made for granulating colors. It needs to be huge. Like an add-on stamp, right? That's where my brain is going. right, let's actually, do I want to stop? No, I don't. Let's see what happens in the crease. And this one is neat. Oh my gosh, I can't write. Neat, mixed. Okay, that is supercalifragilistic freaking expialidocious. Oh, hot press is tough. I'm not always a fan at all. Yes, they sure do. Just gently slide. Yeah. All right. Oh, this is so fun. I the fact that this it's almost like a fluorescent orange. Wonder about the light fastness here. You know me, I don't really care too much about that. I care, but I always assume a paint. I just assume everything is needs to be protected is kind of my approach. So I protect all my artwork. Multiple levels of protection for our watercolors. Wash brush after use. Do not leave in direct sunlight or high temperatures. Yeah, they're going to fade in direct sunlight. So protect these for sure. Yeah, because there's like fluorescent pigments in here. And let's slide the baby back over. I'm going to be patient because it's going to take hours, but I want to know what happens with these puddles. I could blot them away. I'm sure it'll be cute and lovely and all the things, but I want to be patient because I feel like it could be really interesting. Or should I like leave one and not? Yeah, that's what we'll do because how else would we know? I'm going to blot that up so I get a smoother transition there. All right, I'm going to blot up this one a little bit and leave this one. Cool. Holy moly. Holy moly guacamole. Okay, enough blotting. Oh my gosh. Stop. Don't break it. Don't break it. But look. And listen, I get it. Like, this has created a whole new path, a whole new direction. There's so much busyness now, but I am so excited about the trajectory, the possibilities. I can't wait to get rid of the masking to see what surprises lie in wait for me. And I think what I'm going to do next is bring in, where'd it go? Bring in my new love, the Marianas, the Marianas Blue from Tom's Studio, after the next layer of masking fluid detailing I add. And I actually think at that point, this like bottom part might be finito. And then I can just resolve and finish up in this area. Yeah. So here's what I'm going to do, friends. I am going to update you later in the community section here. And of course, I'm going to be showing this off on showing off, you know what I mean? Not like showing my work off, but showing off just the fun of this experiment on Instagram a little bit later. And but I am going to share probably tomorrow on the on the YouTube community page here. But look at what's happening with this. What this looks like when it's completely dry and I've removed the masking. Okay. Yay. Oh my gosh. It's so invigorating. Oh, I know, right? Like buy it now. Buy it now. They're great. They're great. They're just, and I'm going to let these puddles go too. They're wicked great. Oh, wow. Anyhow, thank you, friends, for being here with me. Thank you for playing. Wow. There's so much going on the screen right now because of my background. But I'm just going to scan quickly to see if I missed any questions. Sketches and scrubs, please let me know. I need to actually learn or remember because I know you've told me your real name, but I have a horrible memory. See if I've missed any questions. Yes. Oh, I love this. Lean says the worst thing that can happen is that you have gorgeous collage paper. And really, I love that kind of thinking. Like the worst thing that can happen if this ultimately goes down the pooper, right? Like cut it up and use it in a collage. Cut it. I have a whole video on how to like take your most hated paintings and transform them into something that you potentially could absolutely love, that you could easily absolutely love. So I'm going to put that in the description as well. Um, absolutely. Okay. I see all the comments that were like, ready, be bold, go. Okay, let's see. What is this? Oh, yay. Thanks, friends. Absolutely. Your husband dared to speak to you. How dare he? All right, friends, this has been so uniquely just invigorating for me. And I hope it was the same for you. Look at this. Some of this puddle is creeping over here. I'm gonna let it go. Can't wait to see what this puddle looks like. Make sure to head over to Instagram. I'm gonna just head over there right now and just kind of share some of this energy. And then tomorrow in the community feed, I'm gonna share some photos and thoughts. And yeah, just have a freaking fantastic day and go get yourself some happy paint.